morning. Everyone else is like getting to the end of advent of code, and I'm just approaching the midpoint of my journey. Good morning, 199. How are you? Good to see you, man. How you doing? Oh crap, I forgot an orange. What am I gonna do without my orange? Good morning, Oblivious. How are you? Doing well? Doing well, I hope. 199, feeling a lot better. Coding all day after stream, likely. Nice. Well, good for you, man. I'm glad you're feeling better. Brian on the water. Morning, brother. Appreciate the advice yesterday. Of course, yeah. Of course. I hope it was helpful. Yeah, Dr. Chuck is definitely my kind of guy. He just kind of has this real down-to-earth Midwest approach. I think he actually talks about that at some point, maybe in an older version of Python for Everybody. I think he originally developed that course for teaching Python to librarians, I think, right? So like he was teaching Python to people who really didn't have much background in computer science. So I think that's why he's able to explain it very relatably. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right word. Relatably. Yeah, really great stuff. Good, man. Good. I'm glad. Today's a tough day. Gonna try and be responsible and not sleep through it. Oh, well, we'll see. Oh, wait, hold on. Do you just mean a tough day for you in general? I thought you maybe meant like a tough day for admin of code, but if today's a tough day for you, I'm really sorry that that's the case. I hope it goes well. I hope it is not a tough day. Let's see, I'll pin a message here. Good morning. We've almost reached the midpoint of advent of code. Grab some coffee and come chat with us. If you are new here, try context for more info. Well, sometimes the ups and downs sync up a little bit too well. I feel you. I feel you. Day 11 was... Oh, my pinned message thing blocked your message. Hold on. Day 11 was actually really nice today. The highlight so far. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's... I mean, that's encouraging. I'm dreading day 9 part 2. You guys and a lot of people online made it seem like day 2 part 2 is... Or day 9 part 2 is like an utter nightmare. So... Maybe that actually turns into like a 2-day event for me. So I'm having to do all the normal housekeeping things that I should have done yesterday. Let's see this. The name of the stream. What's that? Say 4:25, I guess. 4:25 a.m. 7 a.m. Upload. Apply. There you go. That's done. Oh, we should probably also check the members list, shouldn't we, too? I don't think we have any new members, but never hurts to double check. Yep, 10. Okay, we've got everything we need. We're all set up. Going to feel a bit rusty as I haven't done any code in a few days. That's all right. You get back on it. Probably going to be finishing off book and then do some drills. Go for it, man. Go get it. Day 9 and day 10, part 2 have been outside my comfort zone for sure. Well, if they're outside your comfort zone, they're going to be way, way outside my comfort zone. Like a whole nother zip code. But we will give it our best shot, you know? We don't back down from the challenge. We might ruin our life trying to solve the challenge, but though I'm falling into the Rust propaganda. The Rust propaganda be pretty convincing. It do be convincing. But I will stay strong on the Python. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's actually a really challenging thing to do as a technologist, is to not get distracted by novelty. It's very easy to find something new to learn or get interested in rather than continuing to go deep and build expertise in one thing. And there's a balance. There's for sure a balance, because you don't want to be unaware of some new technological force that's going to disrupt everything. But at the same time, you don't want to get so distracted that you never really develop true, not necessarily even mastery, but true competence in something. So there really is a tension in those two things for sure. Good morning, Wilo Gamer Pro. Good to see you, man. I want to be considered competent on Python before I consider anything new. I totally would agree with that feeling. I spent a long time writing nothing but JavaScript and TypeScript and C# before I ever took anything else on. Yeah, like you want to reach that point in a programming language where you feel like, given any set of requirements, you could hack together some sort of a solution. It doesn't necessarily have to be the perfect solution, but a solution, you know. I'll be honest, learning the ins and outs of Python locks you into a way of thinking that barely any other language uses. So what are you saying? I feel like that might be a commentary on Python. I mean, everyone here knows. I mean, if you're new here, then you don't know. But if you've been here a while, you know how I feel about Python. I don't think there's anything wrong with it as a language. It just isn't my language. Good morning, Stefan. How are you doing, man? You feeling any better? Sounded like yesterday you were going through it yesterday. Not gonna lie, having looked into more stuff regarding Python's like the duct tape kind of thing. I mean, it can be, but I mean, big production code bases have been built with Python. Like Dropbox. Dropbox was originally, when Drew Houston wrote the first implementations of Dropbox, it was all Python, you know? So you can write you can write big, complex, scalable backends in just about any language these days, you know? Happy coffee? That's right, man. Happy coffee to you too, Suhas. Cheers. Feeling fine today, at least for now. Thanks for asking. Of course, man. Yeah, I would hate for anyone to be sick. I mean, if you're sick, like nothing else really matters until you're better. So I'm glad to hear you're feeling a little bit better. The the stomach flu sucks because there's just one path forward, right? It's just to suffer. That's the, that's just about the only thing there is like drink lots of fluids, try to don't try to avoid getting dehydrated, and just you got to let your body do what your body does, which is no fun. Abdul, bro, are you senior dev? How many years it been since you started tech? First ever. Well, first of all, Abdul, good to see you. I have senior in my title, but whether or not I'm senior to any other human being is probably variant. To coding Jesus, I'm probably not a senior. To the average fella working at the average shop down the road, I might be senior, right? So I have senior in my title. I'm sure there are seniors who are much more experienced and better at development than I am, and there's probably ones that are worse, right? Everything's a spectrum. How many years have I been in tech? So I started working in tech in 2020. August of 2020 is when we were at kind of in the middle or the heights of COVID. And at my old job where I was a food scientist, I had kind of made up my mind for the most part that while the food scientist job was really interesting and was challenging and there was a lot of good to it, it just having two kids, the hours and the level of effort that was required to be good at that job versus what I was making in pay, I had kind of made up my mind that like, okay, I'm gonna look for something else. And so lucky enough, I got the opportunity to interview and actually get a job as a support person in the tech world for the company I work for, and that's where I started. And then over time, I've just worked on kind of upskilling myself to be able to prove myself technically. And that's kind of how I worked myself into the role that I'm in now. Python's great for scripting, tool building, and wrapping APIs. That's my take. Anything else, and you'll be torturing your hardware. Yeah, but who cares about hardware? Hardware is inanimate. Just run my instructions, hardware. Be quiet, shut up, and do what I told you to. Silas, a day, Stephen, away. Yes, drinking coffee is I don't know if it keeps the doctor away, but it definitely keeps me awake. Abdul, not even, or even Jesus is not senior enough to coding. Jesus in coding. You have a good point. I mean, I just say that to illustrate. He's the only online person that I know that has kind of this like I'm better than you senior dev mentality, which is why I always use him as an example. 199. Just learned from Scam Altman, dude. I try to separate people. Like I do try to help. I'm not condemning Sam Altman the person because I'm sure Sam Altman. I mean, I think he's a dad. I think he's a husband. He's obviously somebody's son. So I'm sure as a human being, he's perfectly fine. Like I'm sure I mean, human beings are complex. So I'm sure there's a whole side of him that I don't know and don't see. But as a business person or as a CEO, excuse me, as a CEO, I would agree. There's something snaky or something disingenuous about kind of what he's doing with OpenAI. And I don't have any proof really, and I can't quite put my finger on it but whenever I hear him talk and speak, I always think, I don't know, bro. I think there's something else going on here, 199, just scale your hardware. Yeah, just vertically scale, man. Throw some more cores at it. Workforce said hi. Hello, Workforce. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Stephen, coding Jesus has such a big ego. The worst part is that he can back it up. There's people like that, I mean, there's for sure people like that. I mean, look at there's a lot of athletes that are kind of in that same realm. Big ego, big ability, big ego. And those people do exist. A coffee a night keeps Steven awake. Hey, good morning, KS. It's been a minute since I've seen you in my chat. I hope you're doing well. He's a weeb. Suhas. Good morning, Melty. Good to see you. Suhas, it's okay. You don't have to slam him. It's okay, man. I mean, it's totally fine. Again, it's like Sam Altman. I'm sure that guy. I'm sure Cody Jesus is a very nice human being. He's somebody's son. He was somebody. That's the thing I always think about is like every human being starts out as somebody's baby, right? They start out as somebody's little infant baby, right? So you can't really fault anybody. Like the world gets a hold of all of us and kind of makes us, I think, in a lot of ways what we become. So he's entitled to live his life the way he wants it and make the content he wants to make, and I'm allowed to not really vibe with it. Good morning, Crow of Demise. How are you? Wanted to drop in and say what's up. Well, I appreciate that, man. Even if it's just to drop in and say hi. Super appreciate that. Also, as far as like what's up, nothing. Yeah, just coffee, chat, and we're gonna try to solve this admin of code problem today. That's about all. That's about all we got on the docket. I'm not insulting him. I'm just stating the fact. I am what? You're bi? Is that what you're saying? Or you're biased? Yeah. But that's totally fine. I mean, you're welcome to have your opinion of them as well. I am well. Thanks for asking. Hope you are fine as well. Yeah, man. I'm healthy. My wife's healthy. My kids are healthy. It's all icing on the cake, right? After that, I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt or something because I find myself saying that on stream a lot. All right. Let's figure out what we're doing today. Oh, trash compactor. All right. We're going to be compacting some trash. After helping the elves in the kitchen, you are taking a break and helping them reenact a movie scene. Because, like, why not? Right? When we take breaks, we all reenact movie scenes. Sounds like a whole lot of fun to me. I believe in you. Well, I appreciate the belief. I appreciate the belief and the encouragement. It is definitely a lot of fun. Streaming every morning has been a blast, and doing Advent of Code this year has been a blast. There's been a couple frustrating days, but for the most part, it's been a lot of fun. Steven, there must be a measuring. He got married to another dude. He is publicly gay. Oh, that's totally fine. I mean, hey man, love who you want to love, fuck who you want to fuck. I don't care. I could care less. Why that matters to me, it doesn't. Gotta crush the Advent of Code challenges. We're gonna try to crush today. So far, we've only had one day 2, part 1, that we didn't get done during stream. It took us actually two days. It was kind of painful. Thunder Deer, hoy! Thunder Deer, damn. Hey, I say what I believe. I'm not gonna pull any punches. Exactly. Who cares what consenting adult? I don't care. Again, everyone's entitled to their life. It's your life. It's your life, and you're the only one that has to live it. So, I would not concern yourself with the opinions of others because those other people, they ain't gonna live your life. They ain't gonna be at your funeral. When you lose your job, they're not gonna pay your bills. So, you should live your life on your terms. Steven, are you drinking out of 2 cups or am I tripping? Yeah, I'm drinking out of 2 cups. So in the morning, whenever I get up, Thunder Deer, Steven getting vulgar in here. Oh, if you think this is vulgar, you probably don't want to hang out with me in real life. uh, There's like the amount I cuss here versus the amount I cuss in real life is probably orders of magnitude difference. The So this is my coffee mug, which is a Grinch mug this morning, and then I always make just a glass of water. So that's why there's two different cups. So I usually wake up, brush my teeth, run a comb through my hair, which occasionally doesn't go well. This morning, like this morning, I could not battle this side of my hair to lay down, and then uh, and then I make coffee, make a glass of water, and come down here. Now I want to hang out with you in real life. I am an acquired taste, according to my wife, and if you ask my family, I think a lot of my family would agree. I cuss a lot. I say what I think. I can be pretty blunt about things. Uh, I don't really pull punches too much in conversations. I'm not the most polite person. I'm kind. I'm generous, right? I'm kind. I'm nice. I'm not mean or cruel, but I do have a way of communicating that sometimes people don't jive with. Gotta say, I love the Grinch mug, dude. The Grinch mug. We have a pair. We have a set of Grinch mugs. I think we got them as a Christmas present one year. But yeah, it's good. They're good mugs. Headphones doing the heavy lifting this morning. They are, they are. I could not get that fucking side of my head. I could not get that to like lay down. At some point, you just got to give up and be like, okay, it is what it is. I haven't taken a shower yet, so bedhead is bedhead. Steven being Steven. Pretty much. Like one thing I do a lot that people think is weird is like if we're in a conversation or if like you see me standing around the office, I'll just sometimes be like stretching. Like I just randomly stretch, you know? And people always find it very they're always like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm moving my body, man. I'm stretching." Like I'm not going to be a stiff old motherfucker. I'm fighting some certificate issues today, going for some lunch now, so I'll be back. Oh yeah, no worries. Certificate issues suck. At least you're honest with yourself and others. Pretty dope for real. I try to be. I try to be. Stefan, that's why I use earphones. That's a good idea. I have a pair of earphones, but they're upstairs in my work bag. Suhas, that's the best. I hate when people are like, put me on like safety wheels saying you don't look that bad or that code isn't that stupid. I like when people are brutally honest, which is really good. Yeah, I feel like I'm honest, but I'm not cruel. Like I wouldn't tell you your code is stupid. I would just tell you this is maybe how I would do it differently, right? Like I wouldn't be cruel or mean. Grinch mugs give 10x problem solving. Let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Stretching and pacing during a conversation increases my uptake of information 30%. Yeah, I don't to me it started because I don't know why I started that habit. I just started that habit because when I was personal training and I was waiting for people to finish their sets, a lot of the times while I was like coaching or counting reps, I would just be like squatting or stretching. I would like try to make use of all the minutes that I waited counting people's reps, basically. And then it just kind of permeated into all areas of life. Oblivious. Every month, I'll have one service that just loses its certificates, and each time I relearn how to use whichever supposed automated renewal script I set up. I don't think that's being a skill issue because when I first started working at the company I work for, uh, I would hear our DevOps people or our sysadmin people lament certificates and the process that you just described many times. Abdul, are you in your 20s? No, I'm 32. So I'm a 32-year-old dad of two. I live in Kansas City, Kansas. Happily married for no, not 17 years. I've been with my wife for 17 years and happily married for 9, 10? I think 9 or 10. I think 10. I should probably know the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it was 10. All right, problem time. I'm going to try to focus. I'm going to try to read this problem. They're trying to reenact a movie scene when you over-enthusiastically jump into the garbage chute. A brief fall later, you find yourself in a garbage smasher. Unfortunately, the door has been magnetically sealed. As you try to find a way out, you are approached by a family of cephalopods. I feel like previous years have had cephalopods in it. They're pretty sure they can get the door open, but it will take some time. While you wait, they're curious if you can help the youngest cephalopod with her math homework. Cephalopod math doesn't look that different from normal math. Excuse me. The math worksheet consists of a list of problems. Each problem has a group of numbers that need to be either added or multiplied. However, the problems are arranged a little bit strangely. They seem to be presented next to each other in a very long horizontal list. For example, each problem's numbers are arranged vertically. At the bottom of the problem is the symbol for the operation that needs to be performed. I gotta change the song. It's a little bit not chill enough for me. Okay. At the bottom is yeah, to be performed. Problems are separated by a full column of only spaces. The left/right alignment of numbers within each problem can be ignored. So this worksheet contains 4 problems. To check their work, cephalopod students are given the grand total of adding together all the answers to the individual problems. In this worksheet, the grand total equals blah blah blah. Of course, the actual worksheet is much wider. You'll need to make sure to unroll it completely so that you can read the problems clearly. Solve the problems on the math worksheet. What is the grand total found by adding together all the answers to the individual problems? Okay, so this is actually interesting. This almost, to me, this is almost less challenging on the problem solving side and more challenging on the parsing side because of the way typically we read in files, but how the math problems are stacked up vertically. So to me, I think the parsing is actually the tricky bits of this problem. And there's probably yeah, I think the excuse me, I think the parsing is going to be the tricky part. Good morning, Butterscotch. Abdul, did your wife have a part in the success you have in your tech career, or was it just your own passion/work choice? Well, I think my wife, and I think anyone's partner, does play a role in your success in life, just in general, right? They just you are kind of the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's a trope that people say, but it's 100% a truism. And you're going to spend a lot of time with your partner, right? And so, I mean, my wife has definitely made me a better person. She's made me a less angry person, a calmer person, a much less serious person at times. All good things, all things that I needed, because I tend to be too serious. I tend to be too intense. I tend to kind of run hot, all those things. So she's definitely, made me a better human being, which obviously makes me show up as a better professional as well. As far as like my journey into tech, no, not really. I mean, the one thing my wife has done and has been such a blessing for our family is my wife, from a career perspective, has really always put our family first. And I've tried to do the same as much as I can, but we've kind of we've kind of had very traditional roles in our marriage where I'm kind of the economic provider and she's much more of the house manager, house CEO, and I'm kind of the economic CEO. And so her ability to really focus on our children and focus on our home life gives me the freedom to focus a lot on what I'm doing professionally. So there's definitely been benefit to me having the partner I have. As far as like obtaining the skills necessary to get into tech, I mean that, you know, that was me. My wife isn't the most tech interested person, which is I think good. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So it's a yes and, right? It's a no and. It's like both. To answer your question, does she play a part? She plays a part in everything in my life. But was she there like helping me learn to code? Not really. Like not directly. Suhas, can you use regex? What's the last string and extract the operators? Yeah, I'm thinking from a parsing perspective, that's probably the easiest way to do this is to just capture it line by line and then exploit the fact that like I'm assuming they're all equal, so um, I can just line them up by index. So if I get the first number on the first line, the first number on the second line, the first number on the third line, and then the final symbol on the final line, then I just know I need to grab the first index of each of the four lists, and that constitutes one problem. So that's what I'm thinking might be the simplest way to do this. It may not be the most efficient. There may be a more efficient way to parse this, but I think that's the way I'm going to try to do it to begin with. Maybe you can use f strings and evaluate function. Maybe I didn't even know that existed. So I remember the first time I came in, I was asking questions and you thought I was being a smartass. Well, that's because I'm a dad. I'm just a grumpy dad, you know. Or use the switch case. So Suhas, I would just ask, man, don't try to solve the problem for me in chat, okay? That's the only thing. I want the dopamine hit for myself. So if you want to solve it, just go solve it yourself. Good morning, Volk. KS, I want to know, how do you approach yourself to learn new language or framework, and how do you start? Do you jump straight into doc reference, or learn from YouTube, or from any books, or take self-paced courses? Typically my approach always looks very similar to what we did for Go. Let's see. This is typically what most of my approaches look like. Maybe not always advent of code problems, but I'll almost always start with some sort of tutorial, which kind of gives me like a well-structured plan of like, here's what the language is capable of, here's the syntax, here's the basics, and then immediately I'll jump into some actual projects. So that's kind of what it'll always look like for me. That's my approach. So I started learning Rust, and so instead of using like instead of using like written resources, I'm using Pluralsight, which is kind of a like educational website with a bunch of different courses on it. But I'll almost always start there, some sort of structured curriculum, and then jump into projects. Abdul, do you know networking, like computer networking? Is it important to know if you want to get a job in corporate? I don't know a lot about networking. I know enough to like set up a website and get it hosted and proxy traffic between machines and that sort of thing. But I wouldn't try to apply to be a network engineer, if that makes sense. I think you only need to know a lot about networking if it's in your job description, Abdul, as far as getting a job. I wish if you record yourself a documentary kind of thing about the journey into how you found yourself interested in coding or what you did in your career to start. So I have a video about that where I kind of go into story time. It's like a 20-minute video. It's not really a documentary. And probably shooting a documentary is not in my future at the moment. They're just that would take way too much time and effort than I'm willing to spend on it. But if you want to learn the story of how I learned to code, I made a video about it, and you're welcome to go listen to me give you the complete download of what I did. Butterscotch, I appreciate the help. Just I would just ask you guys not to kind of try to spoil my problem solving journey. If you guys want to solve this, the problem is day 6, part 1 is what we're solving today. So if you want to solve it, definitely go and solve it. But I would just ask not to spoil it for me. Volk, is there a reason you don't stream on Twitch? Mainly just because it's like a ghost land, a wasteland. That's where I started streaming. I mean, that's last December when I was streaming Advent of Code 2024. I was streaming it on Twitch, but there was no one there. So that's why I moved to YouTube, and then I was streaming on YouTube, and I was streaming horizontally on YouTube. Then I decided to stream to YouTube and TikTok, so I switched to a vertical format. And then TikTok was also dead, but the vertical format on YouTube seemed to have actual people who want to talk about coding. So then I just stuck with vertical format on YouTube. Okay, yes, okay, thanks. Yeah, that video will probably give you as much information as you'd ever want from me on that topic. Steven, this is very important. Don't build the torment nexus. I don't know what the torment nexus is. Front end is dev. Everyone should just learn either back end only or some other field in CS. Really? You think front end is dead? I don't know, man. So much of the web is because of great front end designers. You know, if you go to the network tab of any website and you block all the CSS files that website loads, the experience is so shitty. You know, so much of our wonderful experience on the web is because of CSS and people who really understand great front end design and engineering. I don't think it's dead. I don't agree with that. Volk, I will come to YouTube or Twitch. Well, that's nice to know. That's nice to know, man. I have had thoughts about maybe doing like in the new year. I've had thoughts about maybe because a lot of times people will ask me for like a vertical format, and I've had lots of people ask for that, and so I thought, well, why don't I do a vertical format here on YouTube, and then I can do a horizontal one on Twitch if people really want a horizontal format, and I can just say, okay, go over to Twitch if that's what you want. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. The idea of splitting my attention between multiple platforms doesn't sound very appealing to me personally, but I understand the benefit to the viewers. You know, more places for people to watch and view. KS, please don't stop streaming in YouTube ever. I'm not going to, for sure. Don't worry about it, just don't build it. Okay, I will build it. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to build it. Oblivious, here I come, Russ, full stack. Do it. Abdul, trust me, bro. It's not dead because it's not important. It's dead because everyone knows it. I would argue that like wholesale. I work with 5 developers professionally. The vast majority of them, I would say the majority of them write CSS that would make you want to punch a baby, right? It's just like their majority of them have strong C# backend experience, and they're not up to the latest and greatest in the front end world. So I think Abdul, I think your experience maybe is skewed. I don't think it's representative. Maybe mine isn't representative either. But I don't think everyone knows how to build great front ends. Yeah, I don't think that's a true statement. You kind of give me a vibe of a senior developer advisor. Really? I don't know if I should be advising anybody on anything. So you can do multiple streams on YouTube and you can sync the multiple streams using bots. Suhas, that sounds like way more work than it's worth. I just want one stream. I want one stream to YouTube, and I want YouTube to handle. If YouTube wants to give me the ability to have multiple formats, that's fine. But I'm not gonna go through the process of setting up two different streams with two different stream keys, and then setting up OBS to send two different formats to do for two different streams, and then I have two different sets of chat I have to keep up with, and I'm not doing. I'm not. I'm not doing any of that. Not doing that at all. Milty, I'd love for you to be on Twitch. I mainly use Twitch, but I would totes want you to multi because you have a great community here. Yeah, I would never move. I would never like wholesale like pick up and move unless somebody said, "Hey Steven, we'll give you $1 million to move your stream here." Okay, guys, I'm selling out. I'm selling out today. Jokes aside, Tori is really pleasant to work into or to work with, in my opinion. So Tori is the way you build native apps with Rust, right? I think I've heard the folks over on the Syntax podcast talk about that. Shout out Syntax FM. If you guys don't know that podcast or that YouTube channel, you should go check them out. Syntax FM. I think I gotta blow my nose. Yeah, these guys. But yeah, I've heard them talk about using Tori. Tori, I think is how you say it. Tari. I've never used it, so I'd have to take your word for it. Abdul, are you doing YouTube as a job now? Fuck no, man. You know how expensive it is to raise a family in the United States of America? You can't support a family off a YouTube channel as small as mine. You got to have health insurance and you got to have a 401k and retirement. Nah, fuck no. Yeah, I don't think I would ever feel comfortable just doing YouTube for a living. Like that seems highly, highly risky, and I'm so risk adverse. Hold on one sec, I'll be right back. As you should, King. Don't you get sponsors? No, I don't have any sponsors. I never had any I've had people email me about sponsorships, but they always want to pay me like a piece of shit amount of money, and I don't know. I guess I value y'all's attention and time too highly, and they don't want to pay what I asked for. But no, man, it's just the amount of money I would have to make from YouTube compared to replace my salary and what I would have to spend on health insurance. I'm a long ways away from that. A long ways away from that. Stefan, by the way, you can now enable the dual stream for both vertical and horizontal stream with one key. So that is what YouTube has been telling me, or that's what I heard YouTube announced. So YouTube announced this in September. Dual format stream, but I have yet to be given access to this feature. Like when I go into the Creator Studio, I don't see this option when I set up a stream. So I don't know who I need to talk to or what I need to do to get access to it. But maybe it'll show up one day and I'll be surprisingly delighted. But I've been waiting for like 3 months. Steven, bro, I have the access. Do you really? When you click Glow Live, you have the dual stream option. I'm on that page and I don't see it. Oh, I guess, well, actually, hold on. I guess I can't. Well, yeah, I'm on that page and I don't see it. So maybe it's still rolling out. I have no idea. But the moment I get it, I'll definitely try it. I'll for sure try it. Although I'm not sure what I'll do on the other half of the screen while you got, well, you know what I mean? I'm not sure what I'll do on the other half of the screen. Maybe I'll just like, I don't know, play a Minecraft speedrunning video. Yeah. But yeah, I'm totally down to try it. Although I did read a Reddit post that somebody said when they had tried using the dual format option, it didn't actually put their vertical feed in their it didn't put their vertical feed in the short stream. Or I guess that's what they claimed. Which to me would kind of defeat the purpose. Yes, I do not have that. Not above the URL. I don't see it. Is it supposed to be like a toggle switch? Because I do not have a toggle switch. Which is weird. Maybe you're just more important than I am, you know? Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it. Go figure. But whenever it does, we'll definitely give it a chance. Abdul, so is like YouTube just for chilling and stuff, or do you have any intentions with this channel? My only intentions with my channel, Abdul, have been the same intentions that I've had for the last 10 years of making content on the channel, is just make things that I enjoy making, and if other people enjoy them too, great. But yeah, I just do it for fun. Do it for I feel better when I make things, when I create things. I'm sure it's the same way people feel about playing the guitar or playing the piano or any sort of creative process. I feel better. I want to do more things. I feel more energized. And whenever I find activities that give me that feeling, I just do more of those activities. Lifting weights makes me feel that way. Writing code and solving problems makes me feel that way. Making stuff on YouTube makes me feel that way. Writing blog posts makes me feel that way. So I just try to do things that, you know, are it's a very selfish thing. But it makes my life better. All right, we should probably try to solve this problem. I've been yapping a lot this morning, haven't I? I'll send you a screenshot on Discord server. Oh, thanks, man. Oh, yep. Yeah, I do not have that. I've been looking for it, but I don't have it yet. So I guess I'll have to continue to be patient. Maybe my name is way down on the list. Please tell me about how do you master advanced concept. Like, let's say you know much about .NET, I guess. Is there any way to easily be able to get that fluency in one tech, or does that come only through practice daily? I think yeah, I don't think there's a way to shortcut it. I think experience with the technology is really the way you find all the edges, the rough edges and the crusty bits. It's through a lot of time spent. And again, I wouldn't even consider myself a master of .NET things. When I listen to someone like Stephen Taub talk about .NET, I always realize, shit, I don't know I don't know shit about fuck, you know? Like this guy, he's a master. Like, teach me, sensei. So I just think it comes down to years spent. Lots and lots of reps. Are you sure it's not something to do with your OBS and stream key or something like that? I don't think so. I don't understand why my OBS settings would affect what I see in YouTube. But, so I can't really say. Volk, I think I have to solve an IT problem. I cannot do an appointment by my barber without a call. I do not like human interaction. Have to solve it. Nice, nice. All right, so we'll do this. We will do package main test. We'll do test solve part 1. Not mastering, but how do you gain that fluency in one language? I think it's, again, I think it just goes back to reps. You got to sit down and write the language. I mean, that's why when I was learning Go for the last couple months, I've been not using Copilot. Like I don't, if I use Copilot, Copilot steals my reps, and then I don't get reps being fluent. You know, I think it's like speaking a spoken language or a written language. You need time in the saddle. I think that's the term the Primeagen uses, is time in the saddle. I always just use the term reps because that's more like aligns with my athletic background, you know. I unfortunately I don't think there's a way to shortcut that. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's got some hacky, you know, here's my here's my expert solution to learn JavaScript in 15 days or something, you know, master yada yada in 30 days, and I just don't believe that that's a real thing. Whoops. I made a video yesterday and I must have typed funk. Or I must have typed funk instead of function like half a dozen times. Because I was writing TypeScript or JavaScript is what I was writing, and I kept typing funk. File path, yes. 0. We'll give this a test. Go test CMD 06. And everyone is happy. Or everyone's happy, but I'm wrong. So now I need to implement part 1. Do you know the Akinator app? I do not know the Akinator app. Never heard of it. Okay, I get it. Reps or doing the same thing repeatedly, even if it bores you. Basically. I mean, it's not about doing the same thing repeatedly necessarily, but it's about getting like 2 to 4 hours a day writing code in whatever language that you want to gain fluency in, right? Solving problems, doing leak code, building projects. Like, again, it's less, I think, about so much like what you're specifically doing, but it's like cumulative time spent over many days, you know? It's the same way you get fit, or the same way you get strong, or the same way you get wealthy. You're just making these small investments and small deposits into the thing that you want to improve on or get better on or make progress on every day over a long period of time. And there's this sort of compounding interest effect that takes place. That's really the secret sauce. Steven, YouTube video recommendation: working neuron arrays, Doom neurons part 2. Okay, thank you for the video recommendation. Volk, you are using NeoVim, right? Yes, I'm using NeoVim. Stefan, honestly, I don't think you have the option just because you're live right now. Okay, then I will, as soon as I'm off live, I'll take a peek. And if I do it, then yeah, if I do have it, then we'll definitely peek, or we'll definitely give it a try. I'm not saying we'll stick with it, but we will for sure give it a try. Because I think it's kind of, I don't know how exactly I would set up my, I don't exactly know how I would set up my landscape layout, but prioritize the vertical. Because I want to prioritize the vertical layout, but I think they want you to send the horizontal and crop it. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'll experiment. Maybe I'll experiment some this afternoon with a playground stream. They are using live neurons to play Doom, the video game. That's pretty baller. That's very cool. Nicely explained about the consistency part, but that's where most people lag. Yeah, if you suck at being consistent, being successful in life is going to be hard. Being successful at anything in life is going to be hard if you can't be consistent. There's not too much in the world that doesn't demand being consistent, unfortunately. Oh, that sounds like an interesting game, Abdul. Very interesting. Volk, I have seen you're jumping a lot onto other files. Is there a plugin called, or there is a plugin called Harpoon? It can help increase the speed. Oh, yeah, I think I've seen that. That's the Primogen's plugin that he built, Harpoon. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not the most efficient coder, you know? That's just, it's not me. It's probably never gonna be me. So I probably do use too many keystrokes at times, and I probably do things in an inefficient way, and I apologize if that sends any of you. Bye, Suhas. Melty, that's where ATM vertical would come in. It's really easy to set up. I think I've used ATM, or I've used some plugin like that in OBS before. But the problem with that is then you have to have two different streams. Like you have to create a vertical stream on YouTube and a horizontal. Basically, you have to create two different streams so you can have two different stream keys. And then in OBS, you put those individual stream keys in. But it's literally two separate videos on your channel. It's not one video, which I don't want. I don't want that. I don't want the two different videos thing. Which is why I think that's why I'm thinking a better approach for me might be some sort of like multicast option, maybe. I don't know. I still don't know how you make a vertical format translate to a horizontal landscape, or set up a horizontal landscape that you can then crop to vertical and give the same context to both viewers. That would be something I would probably have to iterate on a few times before I got it right. But I'm personally happy with the vertical stream, so I'm not like in a rush to figure out the horizontal thing. Like people say they want a horizontal stream, but whenever I horizontal stream, only 5 people show up to the stream. So it's like, I'd much rather have 10 people in the chat all engaging. That makes for a much more interesting experience for me than have 5 people on the horizontal. What I should do, here's what I should do. Here's what if I was really a capitalist, I would make a horizontal stream and make it members only. You you want a horizontal stream? Well, you're gonna pay for it. All right, so let's get our input and let's do file dot read all lines, and we'll pass in the file path. And then I'm just gonna, again, like I'm just gonna exploit the fact that basically every problem consists of 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, right? So I'm gonna say, okay, first operands is going to be file index 1, or oops, input index 1, second, third, second, third, and then I'm going to say operators are here. So that's 3, this is 2, this is 1. And let's just print these. Excuse me. Command bar. Hello, command bar. Good to see you. Secret Discord members, horizontal stream. Yeah, we could have a. Yeah, that would be good. We could do that. I guess if I was a real capitalist, that's what I would do. Dang, something got in my. Something's tickling the back of my throat. Now, when I have OBS turned on, the setting disappeared. I was right. It's something to do with OBS. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, then I'll whenever I get off stream today, I'll take a look and see if it's there. If it is there, then I will. More than likely, if I have time this evening, this afternoon, I might just fire up a play stream to try to experiment with it and see if I can't figure out maybe a way to make it work with my existing setup. Because I don't mind, like if YouTube is handling all that for me and doesn't make it more work on me, I'm perfectly fine with having a horizontal option for folks. I really like the way TikTok implemented it. So if YouTube implemented it the way TikTok did, I think that's a W. Command bar, what is good? Yeah, I mean, everything is good. I mean, there's nothing really to complain about over here. We're trying to solve day 6, part 1 of Advent of Code at the moment, and we've already drank in a couple shots of espresso. Yeah, man, it's going well. And now we're just working through our solution. Cool. So then what we're gonna do is I think we'll just regex this out, yeah? So I forget. There's a way that I can capture all the numbers here. And then I can do the same thing with the operators. So we'll do, let's just do it on 1 first. So we'll say, I think we'll do numbers regex, which is going to be regex dot must compile, and then we're going to pass in a capture group of D plus, like that. Do I not have to escape it? Oh yeah, I do. I just need to use literals. So I think we want to do this. And then we are going to get the first operand numbers, which is going to be equal to, I think it's numbers regex dot find all string submatches, I think is what we want. And we want to pass in our string, and then we pass -1, I think, here. And then we can print that. So let's just do format print line. And then this gives me like a nested gives me like a multi-dimensional array that I can work through the different matches it found. So it should find 3 numbers, I think. Yeah, so I think I want, this is the match, right? But this is what I want to grab. It's the first capture group, so I want to go over each item in this array and then get the second item or the first indexed item, right? So we can do first operand numbers. This should be first operand matches, I think is what this should be. And then this is going to be equal to a slice of string, or no, slice of ints, because we need to parse it. So we'll say for match in first operand matches. Oh, we need to range this. And then what will we do inside here? So what we'll do inside here is we'll say, okay, what's the number? Well, the number is going to be equal to stir convert.atoi, right? ATOI. ATOI is equivalent to parse int. Yeah, that's what I want. And we'll pass in our match, but we want the second thing in the match. And then we'll just ignore any error that we encounter. And we will add that to our first operand numbers. Dot append the num. And then let's just print this. So we need to repeat this for multiple lines, so we probably can extract this into a helper of some kind. So let's go test. Yep. And I think that gave us all the numbers we would expect. So 123, 328, 5164. So that's pretty good. So now we just need to repeat these for all the other lines. The only thing that's going to be different is the regex. And for the operator, we're not going to parse it to a number. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a function called function parse operands, maybe? Yeah, parse operands. And then I'll pass in a line, which is a string, and we will return a slice of ints, like that. Sweet car, hey, I did my first contribution in open source, yippee, and it got merged. Dude, that's so awesome. Congratulations, man. I wish I need to come up with a soundboard or something that's like clap, because I would love to like clap it up for you, you know? Let me find, hold on. Clapping sound effect. That's so cool. It takes so much effort to contribute to something on your own. There we go. Good job, sweet car. You're the man, dude. You're the man. Congratulations. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, that's awesome. I can't believe the work of a shitty guy is on InMap now. Dude, you're not a shitty guy. Don't say that. Don't talk about yourself like that. Say 3 nice. That's what my wife says. Whenever me or my sons will say something that's kind of critical of ourselves, my wife is always like, say 3 nice things about yourself. So sweet car, you can't call, if you call yourself shitty, you now have to say 3 nice things about yourself, because that you are not shitty. You are obviously a very talented and driven and capable human being, and I hope your enthusiasm about contributing to open source continues, man. So way to go. 199. Do you like salt and vinegar crisps? Yeah, salt and vinegar chips are okay. I think my favorite type of chip at the moment is either honey mustard Pringles or barbecue, like kettle cooked barbecue chips. Those are really good. Why don't you use VS Code? Kind of famous editors. Oh, I definitely use VS Code. Yeah, I definitely use VS Code. Actually, for the majority of my time programming, I was a VS Code user. And then a couple years ago, I stumbled across the Primeagen and kind of became you know, a very regular follower and watcher of his content and his streams on a regular basis. That's a lot of times when I'm working during the day, I have somebody stream up, whether it's Tim the Tapman or the Primeagen or TJ DeFries, just somebody. And watching him over the years, I was like, man, Neovim looks so much fun. And then I think, I don't know, sometime in January, I was laying in bed late at night and I was watching this series of YouTube videos by this guy named Typecraft. And it was kind of like it's called Neovim for Noobs. It's really good. It's a really good um, course. And that convinced me, like, I can do this. I can recreate my VS Code workflow inside Neovim. Because that's what my biggest concern was. Like, two of the things I do a lot in my workflow is I write tests, I write and run a lot of tests, and I debug my tests too. That's a really important part of my personal workflow. And I don't see a lot of people who use Neovim do either of those two things. So I wasn't sure if that was possible. But once I figured out, oh, you can do these things, I decided to take a little side quest down the Neovim rabbit hole, and it's been a lot of fun. And so now I kind of have a daily rotation between Neovim, VS Code, Visual Studio, and Writer, and I just kind of rotate through those editors based on vibes, like just whatever I'm feeling like. The only thing that is consistent across all those editors is that now I have Vim motions. So I basically have Vim motions set up in all those editors with keybinds that are very similar to one another. Gerald, hi. I'm interested in Go, but I don't know how I can start to learn it. So, Gerald, I'm not going to try to. I don't want to be disingenuous. I'm not a super experienced Go person. I just started learning at the beginning of November. So, I have a bunch of streams on my channel if you want to follow along in those streams of me learning Go. But the resources I used were Tour of Go and Learn Go with Tests. And you can find both of those for free online. So if you're interested in working with Go, let's see, the tour is at go.dev/tour, I believe. So this was the first resource that I used. I'll put that in chat just for your reference. And then the other one was Learn Go with Tests. And this is a pretty good book if you like tests and you like test-driven development. This is a pretty awesome. I say it's a book. It's a website, but I say it's a book because it's quite long and lengthy and in depth, and it's very good. So that's how I learned. And then as soon as I finished those courses, we jumped into solving some kind of old advent of code, which are sort of like leak code problems. And then we worked on building a couple projects, which was fun. There's still some more I would like to do with Go in terms of projects, but I don't know when or if I'll ever get around to it, just given time and energy and things I want to accomplish. A guy who knows Git is not shitty. Yeah, 100%. I'm learning Nmap intensively at the moment. How did you contribute? Yeah, I don't know if Sweetcar's still here. Maybe he could answer that. Volk, use a tour of Go and learn Go with tests. Well, there you Volk basically said what I said 5 minutes before I said it. All right, let's move this down. So we'll move this down here. We don't need this. We do need return this. And then we're going to rename this guy to operands. And what? Oh, this needs to be, instead of first operands, this just needs to be line. Like that. And then we should be able to say, let's rename this to matches. So is there anything else I'd like to rename there? I think that's it. And then we should be able to say, we can remove all this. We should be able to say, cool, give me parse operands first, operands like that. We should get the same results, hopefully. Yep, 123, 328, 5164. And then we should be able to do that for all the other ones. So we should be able to say third operand numbers. What's this? Parse operands second. And then we'll do that for the, oh, that should be second. Second, third, third. So we've got all of those. Let's print those real quick just to verify. I still need, that's actually something I need to do for Go, is I haven't actually hooked up a debugger for Go or a test explorer. We never did that. Melty, by the way, do you know who Mr. Doob is? No, I don't know who that is. Can you tell me what project I can do with Go? Well, if Stefan's still here, Stefan actually has completed quite a few projects. I just would start with the good old-fashioned ones, like build a CLI tool that's like a to-task app, right? So a CLI tool to manage tasks, or a URL shortener, or what's another one? To build some sort of static website. I think it's important that you keep it simple enough that you can complete it without too much of a heartache. But I also think it's important that it needs to be feature rich enough that you're actually going to get exposed to things in Go. So I feel like URL shortener is a good one. What else? You could build a calculator, like a command line calculator. You could build, what else? If it was me, I'd probably go to Gemini and be like, I'm learning Go. Give me 10 ideas for projects to learn Go. You know, use AI. Melty, is love if you could break your project file structure between anti-gravity and VS Code. It's hard for me to manage the few things I've got going on. It's kind of interesting. Interesting thought. Melty, he made Three.js. He fixed Bloom having transparency after I asked on Twitter. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've heard of Three.js, but I didn't know who the creator of it was. So that's very cool. He must be, Three.js is quite the work of art, so he must be a very good programmer and very good developer. Stefan, build a web server. You'll learn a lot. Well, there you go. Yeah. Stefan, I know Stefan's done quite a bit of Go projects this year because he shared a lot of them with me. So he's my resident person to go to for Go. Get it? See what I did there? All right. So we have our numbers, and now we need our operators. So to parse our operators, we're going to do something very similar. The only thing we really need to change is the regex and the parsing. So the regex is going to be, let's see, func. And this is going to be a operators regex. And I think this will just be star or plus. But these are special characters, so we have to escape them, I'm pretty sure. Like that. And then we'll do matches. We'll find all the substrings in the line. And in this case, this actually, we don't need to do any conversion. Whoops. We need to do operators. We don't need to do this. We just need to append match 1 like this and then return them. So then we'll come up here and we'll say operators, parse operators, and we'll pass in. Go. I will say that's the one thing, that is the one, that's the one aspect of Go that I haven't quite made peace with, is the fact that I can't have unused variables. I think that makes doing things like this a little challenging, because a lot of times you'll write some code and then you'll want to like not use it for a second, you know, then you gotta comment it out and uncomment it. It's a small thing. It's a small thing, but it is a thing in my opinion. Okay, and so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna calculate the values. So yeah, we're gonna calculate the value. We're gonna have a total. So I think we can use a loop here. So what we'll do is we'll say for range of 4. Actually, let me add those print statements back in. Let's say for range of 3 or 4. I think 3 is what I want. I just want to format print line whatever this is. So I think this will print 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. So I want 4. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what we'll say is we'll get our first operand is going to be equal to first operand numbers at this index. And we're going to do that for each of the collections that we built up. So this will be second operand, this will be third, and this will be our operator. I'm sure. Oops. This should be ops. And this should be third. Oops. Third. And this should be second. That. And then I'm just going to print this. So what we're doing is we're saying format print line. And we're basically running this equation. So we're saying first operand, operator, second operand, operator, and third operand is what we're doing. So let's go ahead and print that out real quick to make sure it makes sense. So we're doing 123 times 45 times 6. I think that's what they want. $123 times 45 times 6. Yep, and then plus, and then, yeah. So I think that's it. Those look right? Hold on. 64, 23, and 314. Am I missing a number? No, I'm not. Okay. So I have all the equations. Now I just need to do the work of evaluating them. So we will do, I guess we'll have a function, and let's call it guess let's call it like this. So I think actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have operands be a list. Yeah, I'm gonna make this a list. Operands is equal to a slice of ints, and I'm just gonna initialize them using this syntax. That way I can call a function that just takes a list of operands and an operator, and all it does is it loops over the operands and applies the operator and builds up a total. So then we'll have something called results equals, we'll just do a calculate function, calculate. We'll pass operands in our operator, and then we'll take the result and we'll add it to our total. I think that's what we're supposed to do. Well, I need to double check the puzzle. Total result, like that. Let me check the puzzle really quick. So the puzzle says, yeah, we add those together. So then we just need to implement the calculate function. So calculate takes in a slice operands, int, operator, which is a string. And then I think we can use a switch statement. I'm not a big fan of the way switch statements are formatted in Go, but I think we can use one here. Eduardo, good. And oh, Eduardo's here. Good to see you, Eduardo. Hope you're doing well. Who else is here? Brian on the water. Do you have any thoughts on what makes a good implementation engineer? What's an implementation engineer, Brian? I don't actually know what that particular discipline is. During this AI era, it's really hard to learn by our own. The AI just spoon feeds you without fumbling through websites or books. 100%. I think that's why you gotta be very disciplined about not leaning into the easy button, right? And AI a lot of times is the easy button. Yeah. Good morning, Gun Highs. How are you? Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Terry Davis? Well, he's not my Lord or Savior, that's for sure, but I have heard of him. Is Renee here? Hey, good to see you, Renee. I'm going to walk over to my PC now. If that build is still failing, I'm going to retire as a dev. That's funny. That's Devin. I found out why you couldn't use it. It's because KBS doesn't have that by default. You'll have to set up Adium multi-stream plugin for OBS, which then adds support for vertical YouTube streams. I'm pretty sure I've used the Adium plugin. I've used a plugin to try doing what we've talked about doing, and I bailed on it after one attempt because it wasn't super great for my machine's performance at the time. Oh no, that's just regular dual stream. Seems like for that feature to work, you have to use YouTube default streaming engine and not OBS. It sucks. Oh yeah, well, that does suck. I don't want to stream through YouTube. I want to stream to YouTube from OBS. But maybe it'd be fun still to play around with the features, Stefan, at least to familiarize myself with it, you know, and know how it works. Renee, tip for the day. Rust still hasn't gotten up to date with the newest MSVC. What is MSVC? Is that some sort of specific compiler or something? Switches are cool and all, but me personally prefer infinitely nested if statements. Yeah. Infinitely nested switch statement. I mean, it's one way to approach it. Microsoft Visual Compiler. Ooh, well, I'm sorry that is the situation for you. You guys, some of you guys always seem like you're hanging out in very like niche rabbit holes. If I not to like throw shade or anything or like criticize you, but like what are Renee, what are you doing where you're compiling or building something, and I thought you were doing something with Rust. Yeah, so what does Rust have to do with MSVC? I just don't find myself having to deal with these things on a daily basis. Maybe that's just because I'm in a different area, I guess, or a different line of work. Right, if operator equals if operator does not equal no, we'll do operator equals plus, and we'll do one thing. I'm just gonna use if statements. If operator equals multiplication, we'll do another, and if we get here, well, we need to panic. Unsupported calculation. Get the fuck out. I feel like we should add more comic relief to people's life with our error messages. Mohammed, thanks for subbing, man. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. So here, what we'll do is we'll say, okay, for oh, actually, we can probably nest this, can't we? I don't know which ones. I think I'll just do this. So I'll say for operand range over operands. We need to discard the index. No, I guess I don't want to do that. I guess I actually do want to return the result, and I don't want to panic. We'll just start the result at 0. Result equals 0. And so we'll say range over the operands, and we will just do. Oh, wait. I guess we actually need to do. I guess we actually need a for loop here, don't we? Right? Yeah, because we basically want to run ahead. Yeah, because we're gonna want to. So let's do for I equals 0, and I is less than operands minus 1, I think. Oops. I think that's what I want. I know, we'll figure it out. Oh, sorry, not. We want the length of the operands minus 1. Because we're gonna say result I actually think doing this loop made it more complicated. Unnecessarily complicated. So I'm gonna just back this out really quick. And what we're gonna do is we're not gonna fuck around with the looping. We're just gonna have first, second, and third. And we're just going to make it real easy on ourselves. I know there's probably a more succinct way to write all this code, but let's get to a solution and then we'll worry about refactoring then. So this will be, result will be equal to the first plus the second plus the third, or the result will be equal to the first times the second times the third. And then we can go back to our panic solution here. We'll either return this, or we'll return this, or we'll panic. Oh no. And then up here, instead of passing in that, we will do, I guess I'll just do 0, 1, and 2. We'll return the total. And then we'll see what happens. So let's run our test and see what we get. Hey, we passed. Look at us. Doing big things. Okay, and then we need to try out our actual input. So we'll go back to our test here. Copy this guy. Paste it here. And for this one, we don't actually know. Excuse me. So we'll do -1 here. That was a big yawn. You know what that means? It's coffee time. It's coffee time. It's coffee time. Good morning, Born to Shine. Thanks for being a member, man. Appreciate you. Good morning, Filthy Potato. Thank you for being a member as well. Appreciate you. Good to see you. KS, what the fuck is the panic keyword in Go? It's basically like the panic keyword is basically like throwing an exception in C#. It's like the way that you can exit the program, right? Get out. Basically just abandon all hope, ye who enter here, and move on. That's what it is. Because normally in Go, the idiomatic approach is everything returns a value, or it returns a default value and an error. So if the method that is being called, or the method that you're authoring, has the potential to knowingly fail, like if there's conditions under which it will fail, the idiomatic approach is to return an error. So like if we're going back to my solution, this is, the panicking is not the right thing, right? The right thing to do would be to do something like this, where I say return, I think I return 0, and then I say errors dot new, dot new, I think, and I can say, oh no, like this. And then I'd have to update the signature here to say, oh, this returns an int and this returns an error. And then here I'd have to return nil, like that. And then the caller, which would basically tell the caller, hey, when you call calculate, something can go wrong here. So what you really should do is you should check the error and say, if error does not equal nil, and now I'm basically putting the onus on the caller to say you need to address this, right? So in this case, what I could do is I could say continue, right? I could just say, okay, well, if the calculation errors, we're not going to add it to the result. Or the caller could panic here. I don't know. Maybe the caller's program can't handle it, so it panics. But that is the typical approach that Go programmers use for control flow and error handling, is they treat errors as values and they kind of bubble them up. And so you end up with a lot of if error does not equal nil checks in your code, which if you're in the C# land, you've probably seen people make videos about the result pattern. which is kind of this idea that something can have two outcomes, and you want to be able to represent that in some way. And so Go takes this approach where they return a value and an error. The results pattern returns an object that can be a success or a failure. And if it's a success, it has a value. If it's an error, if it's unsuccessful, then it has an error type. In TypeScript, you can do this kind of with discriminated unions. And a lot of functional language, they do it with discriminated unions. So yeah, that's kind of, so that's where, but the panic word is there as your like last resort. If like there's no way to recover from this thing, then you panic. So you return errors for things that you expect to happen and should be recoverable, and panic is like, gravity no longer exists, and so all our assumptions about the world are wrong, so we should just exit. Filthy potato, no yawning. That means we need coffee, is what that means. Milty, you're supposed to teach us the way. Don't fall. Hey, Don't follow me, okay? I'm walking my own path, and I'm not sure what is at the other end of it. So I don't want to. I don't want to lead anybody astray. Looks like Stefan left. Maybe I'll see him again. Melty, we can't all be as cultured as you, Steven. I wouldn't consider myself cultured, that's for sure. Filthy potato, you got it, boss. I'm catching up. Sorry, guys, I fell behind. I'm good. I threw out my back yesterday moving stuff. We will see how today goes. Dude, that sucks. I knew you were moving, but that sucks on like the first day of moving to injure yourself. Steven, seriously, man, you got a firm understanding on your basics about how do you replace a simple panic keyword with a lot of hard syntax usage? Yeah, that's basically what you do. And superb exclamation about the panic. Yeah, I don't know. I just regurgitated what I learned from the other folks that taught me Go on Go Tour and learn test with Go. So I can't really claim that I am smart. I'm just regurgitating the information that was told to me. Bro has the Einstein lore. He has elite ball knowledge. I do think my knowledge of football, American football, is pretty high. It's probably not elite, but I can talk shop when it comes to football with with just about anybody. That would be like if I had to rank my like loves in life, it would be like God, my wife and my kids, football, American football, lifting weights, programming and coding, maybe coffee, then programming and coding. I don't know, something like that. It's like my orders of passions in life. That's how they would fall. All right, should we see if we got the right answer, and then we can go make some coffee? Oh goodness, we panicked. Index out of range with length. See, this is why you panic. Okay, so this is a very large number. So what I see here, if we look at this guy, is it looks like we didn't find any operators. So there's a lot of validation checks, obviously, I skipped over in the code. So the question is, why is there no operators? Right? So let's print let's look at our example, our input real quick. So that's valid. Now the question becomes, why don't we end up with anything there? So let's print the operators. Format.println, and we will print the operators, I guess. See what we're doing there. Football tops coffee? That's crazy. No, dude, football tops coffee. If someone today came to me and said, hey, Steven, you can play football again, but you have to give up coffee, I'd be like, bet. I wouldn't even have to think about it. Put me in. Huh. Okay, let me get rid of some of this noise. So let's not print this. And let's only run, oh, sorry, I missed your sub. One sec, let me replay that. That's my bad. Eden, thanks for subbing, I appreciate you. Very kind of you. Filthy potato, give us the power, yeah. Put me in, coach. Exactly, put me in. I gotta go bye, Steven. Thank you for the warm words. Of course, Sweetcar. I'm really happy for you. I'm glad you're feeling good about your contributions and super excited. And I hope you keep you ride that wave of dopamine for a very long time. Well. We should also probably limit this to only be the test that we're interested in. So let's do go test CMD and let's just run solve part 1 with input. Okay, panicked again, which is what we'd expect. But what are we printing here? So this is not what I would expect it to be. This line, for whatever reason, is full of numbers. Doesn't that seem odd? There's something up with my input, or something up with the way I'm reading the input. Yeah, those are my operators, so that's the wrong line. That's the wrong line. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, because there's 5. Oh yeah, okay. So I wrote this assuming. Okay. So I wonder if that's I wonder if that means I have a bad design because I didn't. I should probably. Yeah, so I should probably do. I can fix this. I can fix this better, but I'm going to fix this in a hacky way now, and then I'll make it better. So we'll do main.go. And so then all we need to do is we need to account for the fact that we actually have a fourth list of number, a fourth operand. Is what we're doing. I'll make this so that it's not so ugly, I promise. I'm gonna get to the answer first and then we'll refactor. So this is gonna be 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna have operators equals input at 4. Which obviously I know this is gonna break my example input, right? But hear me out, just hear me out, okay? We're gonna get to the answer and then we'll refactor. So we'll do fourth operand numbers. That's not used. So we will say fourth operand numbers. We'll do operands for. And then we'll have to update our calculate call to take a fourth one. And then we'll just add the fourth. We'll times the fourth. Missing a comma. Oh, yep. Okay, so I think this now will run to completion on the actual input. Nope, it won't. But we did get all our operators, so that's good. Okay. So what line are we? Let me remove the print statements. What line are we on? One, two, three, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3. So the number of lines should this be 5 now? 0, 1, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think this should be. Wait, should it be 5? Yeah, I think it should be 5. What the fuck? What am I not understanding? So we want the first number from our list, the second number. Oh, this should be the length of how many ever problems we have, right? So we'd expect this to be just whatever the length of the, well, every problem needs an operator, so it should just be the length of the ops. However, it's still panicking. Where is it panicking at? It's panicking on line 35, I believe is what that's saying. Line 35. So what is line 35 doing? Line 35 is going into our ops. So let me format print line ops. Well, this was feeling easy and straightforward, and now I feel like I overestimated that easiness. Index out of range 4 with length of 4. But I have a lot of operators, right? That's a lot of operators. So I guess let's print line operator. I don't really understand what's happening. Ops. Indexing ops. It doesn't run. It definitely doesn't run for very long. So it's very early on. Did you know if you Google Google in 1998, you get the HTML page of Google in 1998? Oh, I did not know that. That's kind of cool. I love all those little Easter eggs. Google.com. Google in 1998. Oh, that's super cool. What about if I do can I do different years? Google in 2002. No? Huh. I wonder why they only did it with 1998. Is that when the company started? When was Google founded? Oh, yep. I wonder if that's why they did that. 1998. Ah, that takes me back. See, I would have been 98. I would have been 5? Yeah, I was born in 93, so I'd have been 5 years old. I probably wouldn't use Google for another, for the first time for another 5 years. Like, I probably the first time I used it was sometime in maybe elementary school. I mean, I remember one of the first like browsers or like search engines I used was Ask Jeeves. Does anybody remember that? Ask Jeeves? That was what I remember searching the web with. Yeah, doesn't that give you flashbacks, huh? So I never used this page, but I remember using a page like it, but it would have been much later. Filthy Potato, I was 4. Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. I tried to show it to my dad as a kid, couldn't find the website. KS, I think coffee should be at the top because coffee makes you code, makes you money. That's say, man, that's not bad logic there. It's not flawed. Ask Jeeves. Yeah. Try do a barrel roll. Are these all? Do you guys know about a bunch of Google Easter eggs? That's fun. Do a barrel roll. Oh, that's fun, dude. More software, more companies need to lean into putting Easter eggs in their software like that, right? I mean, just a little bit of surprise and delight. There's the people I buy a lot of my domains from now. There's this website called Pork Bun. You can buy domains from them. But one of the things I love about their website is there's just all over their website, there's just all this personality. Like when you're going through their checkout process, when you read like their different like product descriptions and stuff, there's all kinds of just not oddities, but there's like genuine personality in the copy of the website, which I love. Like right here, other hours. Your mileage may vary, but give it a whirl. You know? Like that's more companies need to lean into having an actual human personality to them instead of just being like these monolithic gray amorphous entities. Yeah, that's my branding advice for those who care about what a 32-year-old dad in Kansas thinks, who can't figure out why his code doesn't work the way he thinks it should work. Indexing ops. Okay. So what? 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, whoopsies. Yeah, so my issue wasn't that. My issue was I typed the wrong number over there. Oh God. Now let's try. Okay, this was the number we got, which is a big number. Let's see. Hey, let's go. Let the dopa flow. Those things rhyme. I'm basically Eminem now. Socket Pasta Rock. First off, nice username. Second off, we're not really building anything. We're solving these Advent of Code challenges. So if you ever heard of Advent of Code, then, or if you haven't heard of Advent of Code, I put the link in the chat. But it's basically like Leak Code style problems, but wrapped in like Christmas holiday themes. So we won. We won today. We came, we saw, we conquered. I'm just doing one. Also, there's 12 challenges this year, but in order to make it stretch the full Advent, the 24 days of Advent, I'm doing one part each day, which has actually made it much more enjoyable and much more manageable than the last couple years for me. Dopa flow. That's right. Let the dopa flow. 10 million points up for grabs if you can tell chat why Google overtook Ash Jeeves, AltaVista, and the others so quickly back then? I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. You'd have to educate me on the history. You've earned that gold star. I haven't earned a gold star. We need some sort of like effect that plays on the screen that's like, you get a gold star. KS, one question. What's your question? To be honest, I like the separate parts. Yeah, I think I think it's much more manageable for me because honestly, what would happen in the past is I would spend like a couple hours solving part one, and if I was lucky and part two was just building on part one, then I could solve it before the end of the day. But if I got unlucky and part two was like a completely different thing, then there was really no I would just run out of time in the day, run out of hours in the day to solve them. So this has been much more manageable. I'm a Google noodle. Okay. Google noodle. So the only problem with my solution though is if I run this for both the input and the example input, it'll fail for the example because I'm basically hard coding the length of how long a problem can be in my solution. So we need to fix that. But first, I need to use the restroom, and then we're gonna make some coffee. So, real quick, let me go use the restroom. I'm gonna set up the coffee station, and then we'll make some coffee, and then we'll refactor my solution so it works for both the example and for the real input. And if you're gonna step away because I'm stepping away, which I totally understand why you would do that. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. But if you're going to stay, this might be a good time for you to go get your coffee. BRB. All right. Be right back. Please ignore my bedhead because it's not, my hair has not been cooperating with me this morning. Okay, 3, 2, 1. To the coffee station. Here we go. Hold on. I see I missed some chats. While solving LeetCode, is it advisable to learn the problem how to code by seeing the solution, or should we approach it blindly and learn from that? I think you should always make a good faith effort to solve it, and then if you get stuck and you need help, then yeah, obviously you need to figure out what the way to solve it is so that you can then have that knowledge, right? I think Filthy Potato had the same idea. Problems can be solved many, many different ways. There you go. Yep, that's a good take. I think learning happens through attempting something, figuring out where the gap in your knowledge is, and then filling in that gap, and then practicing with that newfound knowledge. I think that's how learning happens, in my opinion. Coffee cam. Yes, it is coffee cam time. What am I looking at this morning? Good morning, Unique. Yes, sorry, I fell behind on chat, so I was catching up. But we're making coffee is what we're doing right now. Let's see. It's Advent Day 11. So let's see what the coffee is for Day 11. Day 11 coffee is Columbia Edward Sandoval something. The tasting notes are pear, oolong tea, raw sugar, minerality. This does not sound pleasant to drink. Let's see. Day 11. Let me open up the chat so I don't miss anything. Also, good to see you, Nikki X. Glad you're here. I need my coffee cam. Yeah, I think the coffee cam has been a pretty good addition to the stream. I don't know if we'll keep it, but... Oh, whoops, I forgot to weigh that out. I don't know if we'll keep it around forever, but... It's been a nice change of pace. Something fun. Something different. I do think I'm gonna get a different lens for my camera. I'd like a little bit wider angle lens on my main camera. So I think at some point that angle will probably change. All right, loud noises are incoming, so cover your ears. If you take this coffee cam from us, you lose a member. Okay, all right, well, we can keep the coffee cam around. That's pretty fucking funny. Watching from the bed at the moment. That's fine, man. Yeah, dude. Chill, relax, settle in. Just, slow morning. It's a nice way to spend a slow morning, Just hang out, watch some YouTubes. For me, it involves getting up and drinking some coffee while talking to some strangers on the internet. While I try to avoid crashing out over LeetCode solutions. I'm actually super proud of myself because by this time last year, I had definitely had some crash outs for sure. But we're not even halfway through, so we still have 12 days for Steven to rage quit the stream. All right, water's pouring.
Some people, this is called a clever dripper. I think I've talked about this before, but some people say you're supposed to pour your water first and then add your grounds and mix the grounds into the water. I personally do grounds then water. I've tried both ways. I don't really think it makes a difference, and putting the water in first actually creates quite a bigger mess to deal with from a brewing perspective, or at least you risk the likelihood of a much larger mess from a brewing perspective. Okay, now we just wait. So let's go back to the desk. Come on, chat.
Now we wait. These Onyx coffee guys are obsessed with the tea taste, right? Oh man, yeah. We've had a lot of them, it seems like. Although it seems like the first 8 days was a lot of African coffees, and now the middle 8 days is a lot of South and Central American coffees. So I don't know if they meant to do that, like they meant to kind of segregate the days by region, but that's kind of how it's worked out. When strangers are more supportive than the real people you know. Dude, this is a thing. This is why the internet is such a powerful thing, because you can actually find, for the first time in the history of humanity, you can actually find your people without being locked to only the people that live within driving distance or walking distance of you. So that is something that's pretty cool about the internet, that's for sure. Colombian coffee. Hey, Tired of. Good to see you. Colombian coffee is good. So I'm excited. Arthur, greetings from Brazil. Mate, love your videos. Well, I appreciate that, man. That's very kind of you to stop into the stream and leave such a nice, kind message like that. I'm finding that I'm actually getting pretty lucky that the people who are ending up in my comments and in my streams are actually very kind human beings. So that's been a nice, pleasant surprise over the last 6 months to not have a lot of trolls hanging out here. Okay, so the way we're going to solve this and deal with the variable size is we're just going to make an assumption that the operator is always the final line. That's basically what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the input length. Input length. We did David back. Yeah. Let's see, input length. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the last line for our operators, which means we will do input length -1. And then our operands are going to consist of everything from the beginning of our input to input length -1. So we'll say last line index, which equals input length -1. I'll do last line index. And so now we're not going to have individual lines like this. What we're going to do is we're going to have operands, operand lines, and that will be our input, which will take everything from the first index up to but not including the last. Then we'll get rid of these. Now what we need to do is this is going to be hold on, that's not right, is it? This should be a string. And this should, yeah, this should be a slice of strings. And so now what we want is we want a slice of what do we want? A slice of operands, I guess. A slice of slices is what we want. So if we were to do operands is equal to a int slice, but really what we want is we want like I think we want this is actually what we want, because we want to then loop over for line in a range of operand lines. We want to I guess we'll just do parsed operands equals parse. Man, I've named all this just horribly. And then we'll say operands dot append parsed this, which means then we can get rid of all that, right? And now what we need to do is we need to loop over all the problems. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna go get the coffee. Let's go get the coffee real quick.
The best part of waking up is caffeine and dopamine. I am gonna get some T-shirts made that have like a big chemical structure of the dopamine molecule or the caffeine molecule. I am gonna make some T-shirts because I want, not really to like for anybody, just for me, just so I can wear them. Because I think that would be cool to have T-shirts like that. Coffee smells good. Coffee smells like life. I kind of sound like an addict, don't I? All right, back to the desk. To the workstation. Have them battling each other? That's not a bad idea. I need
to find some designer to work with that can actually make a well-designed thing. But yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of things that I want to make T-shirts out of. I don't know. I feel like you should wear clothes that, like, you want to wear clothes that represent you, but also like I think remind you of things that you love or enjoy. You know. To the office. I've seen worse soda addicts. Yeah, well, I guess I'm a caffeine addict. Renee, vendor lock-in with friends because they live in your neighborhood or work closely by. Okay, first off, I never heard the term vendor lock-in when it comes to describing friends or family, but that might be the single great greatest description of what happens there, right? You literally have vendor lock-in based on where you're born and who you're born to. And the internet sort of for the first time gave us the optionality to kind of break free of that in a lot of ways for a lot of people. You know, people talk so much about the dark side of the internet, which there is definitely a dark side of the internet. But I think there's probably also a lot of people who were largely in some way saved by the internet, by the community and the connections that they found via the web. How you Americans drink raw coffee without mixing anything like milk, or do you mix? Sometimes I do. Most of the time I just drink it black, but I believe that I believe the same thing about your programming tool chain as I do about coffee in that you should drink your coffee the way you enjoy it, and you should use the tools that you enjoy. Life's too short to force yourself to do something the way others think you should do it. Life is too short for that. Mr. Oh My Posh in one line of bash or whatever. Oh man, yeah, that guy, that guy kind of sent me a little bit. Excuse me. All right. Okay, so now at this point in my solution, I have a list of operators and then I have a list of lists. And what I want to do is I want to iterate over the list. Oh, I think this actually makes my life way easier now that I think about this. Does it? Yeah, I think what I can do is I can then say for CKS, have a good day, man. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate all the messages. Very kind of you. Okay, so I think what I can do is I can say for operands. I'm not gonna change the name. I'm gonna change the name of this so that it represents that it's a list of operands. List of operands. And then what I'll do is I'll say for oops, goodness gracious, Steven, get it together. For operands range over list, right? So now we have our list of operands and we can still get our operator the same way, right? And instead we'll calculate inside here, I think is what we can do. So now we'll do the same type of calculation, but now this is going to be replaced with yeah, I think this is going to be replaced with operands of I, is I think what I want to do here. This is not this is where if I structure this solution, this will be so much easier to reason about. Yeah, because I think so. Basically, what I want to do is I almost want like a local result. That's this. And maybe we don't need the calculate function anymore. right? And so what we would do is we would just say total is going to be plus equals result. And then our result is always just going to be so we have to loop over our operand. So if we have 4 lists, we need to take if we have 4 lists of operands, we need to take the number off the top of each one, and then we want to do the operator to each one, right? So it's almost as if okay. So this is ugly, but I'm just trying to avoid making a mistake as best I can. So what I'm gonna do, what am I gonna do? Why is my brain having such a hard time processing? I'm like lagged out. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time processing. I think I'm having a hard time This is what I'm having a hard time processing is I can't start this at 0 because the first time I come through here, I can't do if I do if operator equals, let's say star, right? So if this is multiplication, I can't do result star equals operands I, because that will result in 0, which won't work. For plus, it will work. It's fine. But for multiplication, it's not going to work. So I guess what I can do is I could do this. So we'll do current. God, this is so ugly. Current value is the I that we're on, right? And what we could say is we could say, oh no, actually, what we could do, let's do this instead. So let's do if result equals 0, then result just gets assigned to whatever operands 1 is. There's got to be a better way. And then if operator equals plus, result is plus equal operands at I. Yeah. I think. Maybe? I don't know. We'll try it. It's ugly, but try it. No, that didn't work. That number's way too... Oh, whoops. the reason why it's way too big is because we're multiplying and adding on every iteration. We're also doing a reassignment on every iteration. We need to continue once we hit this. Once we hit any of these conditions, which is where a switch would have been a better option because that would have avoided that bug. Yeah, there we go. So then we can do go test, and let's do all of our tests. And they all pass. Wonderful. So this is our refactored solution, but I think I'm going to massage this more. It doesn't necessarily have to be on stream, but I definitely think there's a way to do this that's a little bit more elegant. But I think part of that starts with representing my parsed values better. You know, because like when I look at my data that I'm being given, I think what I'd like to do is I'd honestly like to represent each parsed thing as a thing, right? So like I could have what would it be, a problem, maybe a struct of type problem that has a list of operands, and then it also has an operator, and then on that struct I have a method called solve or something like that, calculate, right? And then I would just build up a list of the problems and calculate them. The one thing that I also wonder is like if there's a way to parse this problem by problem, but I think that would be more complex, right? Something to think about, because it would be nice if I didn't have to load this all up into memory, if I could just like parse this problem, then parse this problem. But maybe, I don't know if there's a way to do that. I mean, I guess I have to read all the text into memory at some point. I don't know, something to think about. But I definitely think there's a way to refactor this to definitely be easier to reason about. But I'm glad we solved it. Hell yeah. Look at us. Just doing things. So I'm going to take this out since we're not actually using it. All right, let me catch up with chat for a minute here. Black coffee is the best. Black coffee is pretty good. Although I mean, I don't hate a iced vanilla latte. I do like my iced vanilla lattes. Oh man, acid reflux prevents you from drinking coffee. That would suck. I mean, I said I would give up coffee for football, but I don't want to give up coffee for acid reflux. Folgers black coffee hype. I mean, I'd rather have Folgers than no coffee, in my opinion. Good morning, Harsh. Sorry I didn't see you enter the chat, Harsh. Good to see you. Steven, you enjoy coding a lot? I do enjoy coding a lot. Yeah, I really do. I have a ton of fun. Ryan. Good morning, Ryan. Let's see, I have a code challenge for you. Learn Lisp and use it to request a JSON object from the web, parse the data, and create a PDF report from the data. Because Lisp is the language of the gods. Is Lisp hard? Isn't Lisp the language that Uncle Bob said he likes to work in the most? I'm pretty sure I saw an interview with him. Uncle Bob interview. I think it was this one. I think it's in this interview he talks about his favorite language is Lisp. Good to see you again, Thunder Deer. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping back by. I think it's in here somewhere. Can I ask? Let's see if Jim and I can figure it out. Does Uncle Bob claim to use list in this interview? I can't help you with that. Try something else. At what point do they talk about Lisp? This is a pretty baller use case for AI if this actually works. The discussion about lists and its derivatives start when Uncle Bob talks about the structure of interpretation. Let's see.
Old book, right, out of the 80s. And I got the book. I think I got it on eBay, and it was a secondhand book. I stuck it on my shelf. I didn't read it for a while. And then one day I started just thumbing through it, and the book just captivated me. It was like one of those moments when, like, oh my God, what the hell am I reading here? And
what's the name of the book again? Can you say the name one more time?
The Structure and Interpretation of Computers.
Okay.
ICP. You can Google it. You can get it for free. And then, 19 fun stuff to do. This is interesting. Just catalyzed me. It energized me. I thought, well, this is interesting. And of course, the language was Lisp, or it was Scheme.
Yeah, Lisp. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the language. I'm pretty sure in this interview he talks about like that's what he likes to work in nowadays. But Lisp syntax looks super weird to me. Lisp syntax. Maybe we can find examples. Yeah, like, okay. That, Ryan, I mean, I'm not throwing shade, but that cannot be the language the gods want us to write. Who the hell is Uncle Bob? Oh, you know who Uncle Bob is, Renee. Come on. It's Robert Martin. He's the man. Actually, a lot of people actually hate his take on things, and then some people really love his take on things. It's very polarizing. Lisp is pretty interesting. I know fairly early when I was investigating quantum computing, Lisp was the top language for it. Oh, wow. Weird. I don't know. This does not look... This doesn't... There's way too many parentheses in these 3 lines of code. There's double the number of parentheses as there are lines of code in this short snippet that Gemini spit out. Why are there so many parentheses? Stefan, I'm gonna go learn it right now. Do your challenge, Ryan. Thanks for assimilating. It sounds like a good challenge. The code works. We can refactor later, dude. Yeah. And then the later never comes. The refactor never happens. Lisp is really good with mathematicians. They see it as a bunch of mathematical expressions. Interesting. Yeah, I've not really ever used it before, so it looks odd to me, but so be it. Sounds like everything in the .NET world very polarizing. Yeah, Uncle Bob has had a huge influence on particularly the .NET world and the Java world because he speaks to very much an enterprise audience. And so a lot of the things that we do in the .NET world that people don't like programming against an interface, all those types of like clean code things, it comes from him. Or largely is influenced by a lot of his work and his books and his lectures. And a lot of people have strong feelings about those things. Or as my wife would say, a lot of people have very, very big feelings. You have very big feelings about these things. Stefan says, if you don't like something, give it a shot, and then you'll have the right not to like it. So I understand, Stefan, so I 100% understand that sentiment. And I actually sometimes say that a lot when people ask me about, like, what do you think of Java? What do you think of Rust? And I always say, well, it's hard for me to really have an opinion because I haven't tried that. The problem is that logic breaks down really fast when we start talking about things like heroin. It's like that logic falls off a cliff at some point when you're like, well, do I need to try getting shot to figure out if I have the right to not like being shot? Probably not. So this is like, I understand what you're saying. It's just the logic breaks down at some point. It's like you don't have to try everything to form an opinion on the thing. Laugh my ass off. Whoa, jump ship drugs. I'm telling you, I was like, I'm just saying, if you take the logic, right? If something is logically sound, right, you should be able to take it and extrapolate it, right, to a lot of places. uh, I miss those days spending 3 hours debugging only to find out a missing bracket caused the issue. Whew. I mean, as long as the LSP for Lisp tells you when you're missing a parentheses, or even better, if the LSP for Lisp just inserts the parentheses for you whenever you format your code, lovely. I'm totally fine with that. Somebody up here had an idea about my solution, which I missed. Who was it? Somebody had an idea up here about my advent of code thing. Where did it go? Somebody's talking about Emacs. Oh, Filthy Potato said, can you use carriage return to move to the front of the line, then read by column? Yeah, that's a good idea, but I think I still think it means I have to read in. Yeah, I don't think I want to move to the front of the line. I think if I was to try to find a way to parse my solution without loading it all into memory, I need to be able to keep track of some sort of index. Read the first line to a point, then go down, read the next line. Oh, dude, that is way too kind, Minister.
Figured I'll show support because I've been freeloading for a week, lol. Have some coffee on me.
Dude, that is too freaking kind. Too freaking kind. Let me play that again because I kind of talked over the top of it. I keep forgetting that super chats that we added the text to speech thing, so I'll just replay that real quick.
Figured I'll show support because I've been freeloading for a week, lol. Have some coffee on me.
That's way too much. That's way too kind, man. That's way too kind. Yeah, you're not freeloading at all. Just being here is plenty enough, man. So thank you very much. That's very kind. Yeah. Ryan, you can set up your preferred editor to automatically handle parentheses. So Ryan, I remember the last time we chatted on stream, you were in the process of doing some automation at work. Is Lisp something new that you decided to learn for that work, or was it just kind of a separate thing? I'm just curious because I actually haven't heard of Lisp in a lot of professional settings. So I was just curious, if you're actually finding you're using it at work. Not that like means that it's valuable or not valuable. I'm just like genuinely curious. Sink the drug boats. It's Bloom. Hi, Steven. How's your day going? Yeah, my day's going good, man. We solved. Actually, we need to probably merge this in. So we solved day 6, part 1. Yeah, we solved day 6, part 1 of Advent of Code today. So, that was my main goal, and I got to drink coffee and got to talk to all of you, and I'm healthy, and my wife's healthy, and my kiddos are healthy. So yeah, my day is going very well. Lisp is the only language that I know that can parse and run code from other languages. Interesting. Wow, the Texas speech sounds just like me. I have a British accent too, despite being from Missouri. I'm from Missouri and I do not have a British accent. Why does every Lisp tutorial start with them saying that Lisp is elegant? Because it's branding, man. Don't you know? That's how you brand something. You just repeat the same words over and over again. Ryan, Lisp is what I've been using to automate the entire drawing process. Oh, okay, cool. So that is the language that you've been using. Very, very cool. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, you piqued my interest. I mean, if Uncle Bob thinks it's good, right? I mean, if Uncle Bob thinks it's good, it's got to be good. I'm being facetious. But I appreciate the recommendation. Right now, I'm currently, so I was on a Go learning journey, and now I'm on a Rust learning journey, and the number of languages that I need to learn continues to grow faster than I have time to learn them. but I would love to put that one on the list. Clojure is basically JVM Lisp. My boss used to love it. Maybe Clojure is what Uncle Bob uses. I can't remember. I feel like it might have been Clojure because I remember him talking about it running on the JVM in that interview. I don't know. I could be talking out of my ass, but it's Bloom. Oh, exciting. I'm thinking of starting Advent of Code as well. Yeah, you should do it. And the nice thing is you can start it at any point. Like, they keep it up forever, essentially, at this point, right? It's only been running since 2015, but you can go back and do all the old problems. So even if you started today and it took you until the end of January or something, depending on like how fast you are, there's no rush. You know, you can just do the problems at your own pace. Harsh. I still haven't done day 6. Hope it's not too bad. So day 6 part 1 seemed pretty straightforward. I mean, spoiler alert, my solution's on the screen, but the hardest part about it, in my opinion, was the parsing. The parsing is harder than the actual solution of what you're doing, because you're basically just calculating math. We'll see if part 2 though changes that, because it's entirely possible that the way that I solved part 1 doesn't lend itself very well to part 2. So Steven needs C++ in his life. All these languages, man, there's just too many of them. AutoCAD has a special flavor of Lisp called AutoLisp. I have used it to get JSON objects from a website, parse the point cloud, and draw a floor plan from the point cloud. That is very cool, Ryan. That sounds like a because I remember you telling me about this. It was a lot of drawings, right? There was a significant number of drawings that you were automating. So it seems like learning Lisp has served you very, very well. Facetious. I blame the Big Bang Theory for bringing that back into the general lexicon. Yeah, I use that word every so often. Not as much as I use the word fuck, but you know. There's not very many words I say more than fuck. Maybe I love you. I say I love you a lot to my family. that kind of sums me up as a person. I say I love you a lot and I say fuck a lot, and that kind of sums up me. So I was never sure I'd go into software engineering, but now that I'm here working for 3 years, I'm liking it so far and exploring more and more. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. It's wonderful when you it doesn't sound like you stumbled into something, but it's wonderful when you get to where you thought you wanted to be and it's actually good. So that's good. Minister of Defense. I'm part of the dumb programmer camp. My favorite languages Z, Zig, and Go. So I don't know C, I don't know Zig, but I've heard wonderful things about Zig. I do know Go now, sort of. Not probably as well as you do. I don't know Haskell, Rust, or Lisp. I'm trying to learn Rust currently. There's just so many damn programming languages. Inderish said hi. Hello, Inderish. How are you? Good to see you. 5,000 plus drawings. Whew. Your company must love you, Ryan. I hope you put that accomplishment on your end of year review. We're doing end of year reviews right now at work, or we were kind of going through that process the last couple of weeks. So I really hope you have an end of year review process, and I hope you, like, in very big bold letters, put that at the top of your accomplishments. Thunder Deer balanced. That's right. I'm a balanced individual. See you, Harsh. Have a good day, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm not going to stick around for too much longer either, so have a good day, man. Alright, let's, I'm I'm just gonna I'm gonna refactor this later, but I'm gonna leave this. This is what we solved part 1 with, and so I'm gonna do git checkout Stephen Freeborn feature solve. What was it? Solve day 6 part 1. Git push. And then we need to open this up in VS Code so we can format our table. Part 1. I don't think it is the best solution, but it does solve it. Format that with Markdown like this. And then we'll go ahead and say git add. Actually, we'll use my favorite. We'll use my favorite way to manage Git, lazy Git, and we'll say add that, and we'll do feature solve day 6 part 2. No, part 1. Sorry. There we go. Push that up. GHPAPR create. I automated a $60 million contract. Give me 20K. Exactly. That's what you need to put at the top of your fucking performance review, man. That is awesome. Like, that's like, if they don't give you a bump for that, they're probably not going to give you a bump for much. And then if that's the case, well, then it's time to update the resume. See you, Thunder Deer. Have a good day, man. I'm not into code. I'm into building things. I have to know code to build things on computers. I think that's totally valid, Unique UX. I mean, I think there's a large number of people who feel the same way you do, and I think that's why no code and low code tools and vibe coding now is a great thing, because it enables people like you who don't care so much about the code, or don't care so much about, don't care so much about the weeds of like the structure of code and the feel of code and the look of code, and just want to get to the thing you want to make, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I got to figure out all these GitHub commands to push stuff. Yeah, I use Git to do like local branch, local and remote branch management, and then I use the GitHub CLI, which is GH, to actually like manage pull requests and issues and runs and stuff. I really love the GitHub CLI. It's a very nice user experience. I know GitHub's actually taken a lot of heat on tech Twitter lately. Like, a lot of people are shitting on their UI, I guess, and the performance of their website. And I mean, it is kind of slow a little. Like, it is kind of slow, I will admit, like loading stuff and navigating. Some of it is not the speediest, but I don't know. I don't mind GitHub, but a lot of people don't seem to like their website lately, if you listen to people on Twitter. Unique UX. It's not the how, it's the why for me, and I think that's totally fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, I don't think there's any problem with that. Filthy Potato, did you see Prime's video about GitHub Runner ran for 5K hours? Oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. I did not see that video, but that's horrible. I mean, I have had really good experience with GitHub and GitHub Actions, and like, I use GitHub Actions very heavily to facilitate a bunch of automated testing. And yeah, I mean, Does it have? I do. I will say that one of my pet projects that I want to work on is I do want to get. Have you guys heard of Git T? It's like a self-hosted version of GitHub. I do want to get that up and running on my. I want to use my NAS for it, or at least to store the repos. I want to use it for from. I want to use my NAS to store the repos, but this actually looks really cool. Not that I feel desperate to get away from GitHub. I just think it's kind of cool to be able to have your code saved to your own place, so that if anything ever did happen to GitHub, or if you screwed up and did something that forced GitHub to like take your account away, that you wouldn't lose all the code that you had. Because right now, almost all my code is pretty much like it's persisted on GitHub. And as I understand it, Git gives you a lot of the same functionality as GitHub, and Git will let you mirror a repo from your Git to GitHub. So you can essentially have the code where people expect to find your code on GitHub, but then you can sort of manage and maintain it on through Git. So this is something I want to set up at some point. I haven't really gotten to it, but somebody in chat told me about it, and then after they told me about it, I was like, how did I never know this existed? And I'm totally bought in to getting installed. You can host it with Docker. I think you can run in a Docker container at some point. I might do this on stream. I might do this off stream. I don't know. This is one of my pet projects, though. Yeah, with 3 lines of code, they wasted so much money. That's awful, man. That's awful. Probably wasted a lot of electricity, too, huh? I have all my stuff on my Unraid NAS. That's smart. Yeah, I don't. I would like to try to fix that. There's a database like that too. You can put it on your local machine, acts like Supabase. This is actually a cool project when we're talking about Supabase. I think we brought this up in Discord. There's this project that's written in Go. It's a single file. It's all written in Go. It's called Pocketbase. And you can literally get basically sort of a Supabase-like experience by just dropping an exe on your or an executable on your machine, running it, and then you just got to route traffic to it. it's pretty ball. I think this is all built by one guy too, if I'm not mistaken, based on what I've heard about it, which is unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. I have not actually used it for anything. I've just experimented with it locally, but I think it would be really fun to use it for some sort of small micro SaaS product or something. You know, you get all of this nice to have file uploads, authentication, right? Like in a single fucking file, man. That's crazy. Yeah, it's very cool. Very, very cool. I don't know if this is the one you were talking about, but this is the one I thought of when you said that. Unique EX, yeah, Pocketbase, that's it. Yeah, Pocketbase. I think it was Syntax. I think Syntax FM was the first time I heard about Pocketbase. I think they turned me on to it. Filthy Potato on stream hype. Yeah, we can do it on stream. I don't know how complicated it would be or how much like frustration I would have to display publicly to get it working, but it might be fun to do. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. You can use SQLite as the database. You can use a distributed database if you want, but I'd probably just use SQLite. The thing I couldn't figure out was that when I was reading the docs earlier, I couldn't figure out how to separate the path to my database versus the path to my repo, because I don't really want the database on my NAS, but I would like to have the repos on the NAS, right? Because I'd be worried maybe that the SQLite database on the NAS might be kind of slow. But we'll see. I don't want binary. I want I want to install it with Docker. It seems pretty straightforward though. You just map some ports, map some volumes, and you're up and running. To bind the integrated open SSH daemon in the web server on a different port, adjust the port section. Yeah, I wonder how SSH would work on it. Especially, this would live behind a reverse proxy. So I wonder if they have a reverse proxy. Set server root URL in your app.ini file. Make the reverse proxy pass this to this. Okay, make sure the reverse proxy does not encode the URI. Okay, make sure the host, yep. Huh. If you want Nginx to serve your GitT instance, add the following server section. Oh, this is what I would do. That's cool. They already have example configs. That's awesome. So this is all sorted out for me already. I don't have to worry about this. That's awesome. Okay, yeah. So we could probably definitely do this on stream at some point. What are we talking about? We're talking about the Primeagen. GitHub remains a great product. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with everybody having different opinions. I just haven't had a very negative experience with GitHub myself. I'm sure other people have, so I don't. My experience is biased. I hope GitHub claps back. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be the vibe of their brand. All right, I gotta. You know what, guys? You guys know what time it is. It's time for Steven's streamer life to end. His YouTuber life has to end, and he has to go be the better part of his life. He has to go be a dad and a husband. So I am going to do our normal wrap up and leave y'all with hopefully what is a great Thursday ahead of you. So if you're new here and you want to interact with us outside of stream, the best place to find us, meaning me and chat, is in our Discord, which I'll put the link in the chat one more time. Stream Elements has been posting it intermittently. If you'd like to come back and hang out with us in the future, my schedule is I'm live almost every morning, or I try to be live every morning from 4:15 a.m. to 7 a.m. And sometimes on the weekends I'll go a little bit later, but that's kind of the hours I set aside to stream. As far as plans for the stream, we're going to continue doing Advent of Code. That's the main goal till the 24th. Every day when we stream is to get online and do one part of Advent of Code. And then if we finish with enough time, we'll obviously like shoot the shit and maybe work on some projects. So if you're down with that and you're interested in that, come hang out. If not, just stop in and say hi, blow in, blow out. That's totally cool too. The one thing I wanted to say before I got off the stream is the Minister of Defense, who sometimes hangs out here quite a bit, he super chatted me $20. It's way more money than is ever needed to be super chatted to me, but I do very much appreciate it. So thank you very much, Minister of Defense, if you're still here. And I think that's all I have to say. So we'll be back tomorrow. If you're here tomorrow, can't wait to see you again. If not, maybe I'll see you in the comments of a video or a short. And with that, I'll leave y'all. Okay? Renee, cheers, Steven. My build is still failing. Oh, fuck, dude. Renee, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. I'll see you next time. MD, good to see you again. Sorry, MD, I gotta get out of here. Can you please start an OSS contribution from scratch series? We could. I don't know what we'd contribute to, but I guess we could find something. We got to get through Advent of Code first. See you, Stefan. Thanks for being a member, man. Appreciate you. Filthy Potato, hope your back feels better, man. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you being a member. Let's see. Unique UX. See you later, man. Thanks for hanging out. Who else is in chat? We got Renee, Filthy Potato, Unique UX, Ryan. Ryan, appreciate your list recommendation. Also, I hope you get a big, fat raise at your company this year, because it sounds like you saved them a shit ton of time and made them a lot of money. Who else? I think that's it. All right. Anybody else that's still here? Hope you guys have a great day. Have a great rest of your Thursday. If it's already Friday for you, have a great rest of your Friday. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, chat. Bye. Bye. See you guys.